Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tartar Zone. And we are here for the Tartar Zone talks. And again, RTD and Co cannot put a foot right with the other side of the fandom. But there is a change in the wind, folks, because both sides of the fandom are now calling these fake Doctor Who fans out once and for all. They still haven't gotten over the fact that their precious Jodie Whittaker has left, and the backlash to David Tennant accusing RTD of racism. When it was pointed out to them that Shooty's casting was actually announced first, but they ignore all of that because they have to try and set a narrative. But I'm not here to give out or to have a rant. But as you know, Doctor Who magazine is about to come out. It might be out in some places already. But of course, there's already been some quotes taken from the magazine, which has caused a bit of upset with that side of the fandom. When you hear RTD's response in the article to why David Tennant didn't regenerate into Jodie's costume, they've taken it as some sort of something that's offensive. They maintain that David should have regenerated into Jodie's costume because Jodie told everybody that her costume was non-binary. Right, it was gender neutral, right? Of course, RTD doesn't agree with that assessment that the costume was gender neutral, and this is where we've gotten into the crap with these fans again, because all they are is activists. They don't give a shit about the show. They're not talking about how excited they are about the show. They're criticizing Chris Chibnall, RTD at every turn. Right, at every turn. Now, I'm going to put up a screenshot now because people will want to know, well, why didn't he regenerate into Jodie's costume? Well, he's made it clear, and I'm going to show you. And then someone on Instagram decided to send him a message about how disappointed they were, and I'll show you his response to that person as well. RTD is taking no prisoners in this. And if you read that quote, and here's the thing, folks, for the first time, I stopped buying Doctor Who magazine during the Moffat era. And I haven't bought it since. Tomorrow, I will be going into the city centre to buy my first Doctor Who magazine in years. Because it's the first proper sit down with RTD. I've got some news on Doctor Who magazine as well, which is being reported. We'll get into that as well, but we'll get to this because I know that's most of you are wondering what was said about the costume. So let's get it out there. And why has this gone like this? Hold on. Right, here we go. Oh, for God's sake. Technical difficulties today, but don't worry, we'll get there. Right, so the first picture obviously is this, right? So this is where he explains why he didn't regenerate David into Jodie's costume, and because of this response, he's been receiving all sorts of crap for it. So he says this: I was certain that I didn't want David to appear in Jodie's costume. I think the notion of men dressing in women's clothes, the notion of drag, is very delicate. Right? So this is the reason why he didn't do it. And I want to make this clear. I support him, right, in this thing, because he'll go down further to say that the media will pick up on it and turn it into something that it's not. And that's why he didn't do it. He's protecting a community that he is a huge fan of, which he says here, I'm a huge fan of that culture and the dignity of that. It is truly a valuable thing, but it has to be done with immense thought and respect. With respect to Jodie and her doctor, I think it can look like a mockery when a straight man wears her clothes. So, as we know, Sacha Dhawan did it, right? Now, you could take that as a direct attack at Chris Chibnall, but I don't see it as a direct attack at Chris Chibnall. It could be perceived that way, and him saying, look, I'm doing things my way, right? Which is fair enough to say, right? But I don't think it actually is in the context of the whole quote that I'm going to read out now. To put a great big 6-foot Scottish man into them looks like we're taking the mickey. Also, I guarantee you it's the only photograph of some of the papers would print for the rest of the time. If they can play with gender in a sarcastic or critical way, they will. So he's criticizing the media. He's saying that he didn't think if he did this, it would be a good idea because the media would turn it into something that it isn't, right? So because he has said that, though, they're saying it's disrespectful to Jodie Whittaker's doctor. Everything goes back to being disrespectful to Jodie Whittaker's doctor, right? Now, someone on Instagram, that's what I mean. Gobby, I agree with you as well. This to me gives me further confidence in RTD, right? Now his response on Twitter, or not on Twitter, on Instagram, because some fan decided that, well, they weren't happy with him. So they were going, now I have to be honest, the fan was respectful as much as you could be. But RTD's response to it, again, you will see. And again, this gives me further encouragement that RTD gets it. He knows that the media will jump on little things, so he has to be careful. And he doesn't want to go around disrespecting any community out there. I think that's absolutely fantastic. I think, but these, I'm not going to call them fans, sorry. These activists don't get this in this fandom. They don't get it that he's actually trying to protect certain groups, but they can't see past their hatred because another cis white male, as they call it, has regenerated into Jodie, and they're still not happy about that. And I'll get into the Doctor Who magazine cover now in a few minutes. A lot of you, obviously, on Twitter have probably seen the cover. It's been splashed everywhere because it's caused a bit of an uproar again. But here's the response from RTD. Well, I'll read the message from the person first. And then the response. I won't put this up actually on screen because I'm at the realizing, well, it is public, I suppose. And he did block their name already. Right, so someone actually blocked their name, so that's fine. So we'll put it up. I just want to be careful because, you don't want to be accused of bullying anybody here. You know what I mean? Very disappointed with your latest comments on Jodie's costume in Doctor Who magazine. Jodie has made it clear time and time again that her costume is gender neutral and is for everyone. To say that a man would look silly in it is an insult to her and to every male 13th cosplayer. If Jodie can wear men's clothes, if Sacha can wear the costume and it does not be a mockery, then what on earth is wrong with David Tennant wearing it? And RTD's response was clearly, fair enough, I don't agree with you, but well said. Right? So he handled it in a very tactful manner, right? But he doesn't agree. I'm telling you, I know people were worried about him because of early statements he has made. But I have to say, since then, he's come out and he has, he's a couple of fans have came at him and he's put them in their place. He's taken no crap, right? But he's shown yet again that when he does this show, nothing that he does is going to be a mockery, is going to take the mickey, as he calls it. It's going to be done respectfully. It's not done for clicks. It's not done for viewers, right? It's not done to pander to people, to a certain group of people. He wants to please everybody. Now, it is hard to try please everybody, and right now he's finding that out with these people. But you're never going to make them happy because they're not fans of the show. So in all fairness, I think, look, people need to cop on. People keep sending me screenshots of what people are saying. I don't care. Let them scream into the void. The difference is they chose, when we screamed into the void, they chose to attack us, right? We could play this differently. We don't have to listen to them. RTD is certainly not listening to them. He's going to make Doctor Who, and he's going to try his best to make it the best show that it can be. That's what the impression I get from him is. He's not going to pander to certain people anymore, right? He's going to do it his way. And he's already said that he doesn't trust the media. But that gets me on to Doctor Who magazine. It has been reported by the TV Zone, as you know, on Twitter. They have a Twitter account. They over the last year or so, they have really established themselves as people that seem to get some either first-hand information or whatever. But apparently what's going to happen now is that obviously in the first issue of Doctor Who magazine, since RTD has officially took over, RTD and Doctor Who magazine are collaborating again for another interview. And apparently going forward, Doctor Who magazine will be used for Doctor Who exclusives like it was back in the old days. So RTD is not only on a mission to save the show, he's already trying to make it better for Doctor Who magazine. Doctor Who magazine sales have actually hit an all-time low, so they need to get people buying that magazine. And I'm telling you, I'm buying it. I'm going out and I'll show it to you tomorrow, because I'll be going into the city centre. It's supposed to be out tomorrow. So I'm going in, and if it's not out tomorrow, I'll reserve a copy. I'll pay for it, but I'm getting it. I'll be getting it, and then I'll show you on camera, and maybe we can read out a few more little bits. We have to be careful, of course, that we don't read out entire bloody paragraphs, because we can get into trouble there. But Doctor Who magazine apparently now is going to be used as a springboard for all of the breaking news. Because as you know, under Chris Chibnall, he seemed to have a disdain for the magazine, because he gave the magazine hardly anything, and the magazine struggled. There's also a David Tennant comic strip going to feature in the Doctor Who magazine as well. But the magazine cover has also caused outrage from these lunatics. Hold on. I keep forgetting that you actually have to write it in. But yeah, they're not happy with the Doctor Who magazine cover now, because well, I'll show you the cover. But let's just say again, you can interpret this in different ways. That's the thing. They've decided to see it as a negative, or maybe it was just RTD, the magazine, because there was a bit of a backlash to David Tennant's return, and they wanted to make clear to the fandom. You will see now. I'm getting it up now. Hold on. But again, it goes. It's shown me that these see, I mean, even their Twitter account here that I'm looking at, right? The Twitter account, the Doctor Who magazine Twitter account, which I reckon will become active again. The last time it put up a post was the 13th of October. Well, hold on. I have to actually type it in here. But it's I just have to say I find the whole situation laughable. Because now these activists know what we felt like all of those years ago when they decided to turn the Doctor Who fandom and the show upside down with their choices. Now, obviously, we had legit reasons to be skeptical, angry, and, worried. They have zero. David Tennant is a former doctor, right, who was very successful. So that anger and their bitterness, and the same with RTD, like successful writer on the show, they have no reasons to be doing what they're doing. But everything, as I said, even that comment to RTD, it's disrespectful to Jodie, right? Well, sorry to say this, but this is the fact. This is a fact. How about the disrespect that Jodie showed to Doctor Who and the disrespect from Chris Chibnall, the way he wrote the show? Right? You started talking about that disrespect. What about that disrespect? That disrespect did a lot more damage. You're talking about disrespecting Jodie Whittaker. Jodie Whittaker is gone. Jodie Whittaker is gone. And by the way, that's that last scene that you saw where the camera was panning out. That was her regeneration. Those two weren't there, as far as I know. We'll find out in the Doctor Who magazine, obviously, when we read it. But as far as I know, those two weren't in each other's presence doing that regeneration scene. Because the show was going to end, because Chris Chibnall has even said himself he didn't know if Doctor Who was coming back. That's why they left. They were going to leave it on a cliffhanger where they're just regenerating. And then if they decided then to continue with the show, well, then they could just like do what they did with David Tennant then. Show the regeneration and then continue with the show. Yous have been disrespectful to this fandom for the last 5 years and disrespectful to everything that makes Doctor Who, and now yous are complaining because RTD and co are trying to be very careful. Number one, not to upset people, but number two, to make everybody feel that this show is for them, but yous refuse to accept because David Tennant is back. Anyway, here's the Doctor Who magazine cover that's causing all the problems. And you'll see why it caused all the problems, because they've taken the tagline of this and they've taken offense to it. But so exclusive. This is the future. David Tennant is the Doctor. So that's the cover. And that cover, see, even in this this group here, which I won't mention, but you can see the name of them here. If you go down through the comment section, it's quite funny. And if you see anybody that's posted this, the comments from the usual suspects, calling it disrespectful. But in fairness, as I said, both sides of the fandom have actually been calling these doctory fans, or whatever they call themselves, out once and for all, right? They're complaining about the tagline. Listen, they knew there was going to be a backlash. They weren't saying that when we were told that we had to accept Jodie Whittaker is the doctor. Do you remember? Now they've done the same, but now they're not happy. They're not happy. Now you know how we feel. Now you know how we feel, but you have no justification for this because this is one of the most new. This is the most successful doctor of the New Who era. You don't have a leg to stand on. You need to leave it out. You were always going to lose Jodie Whittaker as the doctor. And by the way, the only reason there's another reason why I'm buying this magazine. I mean, just look at that bleeding logo. Look at the new logo on that magazine. And none of this multicolored crappy fucking art anymore. It's just a proper plain fucking cover. Right? Nothing extravagant. It doesn't have to be over the top. It's just David Tennant with that look. And I think it's great. But they've taken offense to that as well. They've taken offense to that as well. And it's actually becoming laughable now because, as I said, they do not have a leg to stand on in this case. We've seen David before in action. They have no reason to be carrying on the way they're carrying on, right? But they're only carrying on this because apparently it's David's fault and RTD's fault that Jodie Whittaker was overshadowed and disrespected. No. It was Chris Chibnall that overshadowed and disrespected Jodie Whittaker. Again, you are barking up the wrong tree. You are going, I'm not saying you should go after people, but you are targeting the wrong two people here. Right? The person you should be angry with is Chris Chibnall. He's the one you should be angry with. He pandered to you. He gave you a little glimpse and a little hope that there'd be Tasman. And then on the last episode, he didn't have the courage to follow it through. That's the showrunner you supported. Because he was writing for a female doctor. But yeah, we were telling you that he was wrong. That he wasn't the right showrunner. And he definitely couldn't write Jodie Whittaker's doctor. So, again, as I said, you're barking up the wrong tree. It's not David Tennant's fault. It's not even RTD's fault. We wouldn't be in this position if Chris Chibnall had done his job properly. Because if Jodie Whittaker was as successful as people claimed, yeah, well then they would have carried on with another female doctor. We would have been fully behind it and supporting it because it was done so well. But no, we're left with a fandom that's destroyed. We're left with a show that's hanging on life support now, right now, hoping that RTD can turn it around, right? We got a Doctor Who magazine that was on its knees and the licensees that were on their knees. Absolutely. And somehow, all of these things that are happening now is somehow disrespectful to Jodie Whittaker. I tell you what was disrespectful, right? What was disrespectful was giving Jodie Whittaker the job in the first place when it was well out of her league. The disrespect to Doctor Who was giving Chris Chibnall the role of showrunner, right? There was a lot of mistakes made. And now we got the course correct and we got to fix it. And if you don't like what RTD and David Tennant is doing, well then, I will say what you all said to me for the last 5 years, except I stayed and watched the show and stayed, even though I didn't like Jodie Whittaker's era, I stayed loyal to Doctor Who. But yous aren't loyal, yous are only loyal to the agenda and the ideology and whatever other bullshit propaganda agenda that Chibs can squeeze in there. That's what yous are fans of, right? Yous weren't fans of Jodie Whittaker either. Yous were fans of what she stood for. the first female doctor. That's it. He's not even like the actress, right? He's just like the fact that she was the first female doctor, and you could stand her off to, or Tazzy, her and Taz ship the both of them, right? That's it. That's it. Right? He's never respected Doctor Who. So I'll give you the advice that you gave all of us 5 years ago. If you don't like it, then leave. Simple. The reason why we can come at you is because you have no legitimate argument this time. We had legitimate concerns and legitimate arguments to make, saying that Jodie Whittaker's casting was only done for political reasons. It wasn't done for Doctor Who. Right? If you don't make the decisions based on what's good for the show, and you do it for other reasons, the show suffers. And that's what happened over the last 5 years. But that's what you guys all supported. And now that it's gone all horribly wrong, and the truth is starting to come out, you don't like it, so you are taking out on people that you shouldn't even be taking out on. Chris Chibnall and Piers Wenger and that regime at the BBC are the ones that let you down. Right? Doctor Who's so badly damaged that now it's gone to Bad Wolf Studios. And now we got Disney Plus distributing it along with BBC Studios, but it's going to make a shit ton of money now. And it's going to be something that it never was before. Right? So that's what we have to deal with as fans, going into the unknown for the first time with this show. That's what Chibs has done. That's what Jodie Whittaker's reign as the Doctor has done. And yet, somehow, everything that's going on now is disrespectful to Jodie Whittaker. Cop on. Cop on. We've had enough of yous our tears now. And yous are blah, 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 blah. Nobody cares. Right? Nobody cares. Chris Chibnall doesn't give a shit. Never did. Jodie Whittaker is gone now. She doesn't care. She'll go to Comic-Cons now and make a shit ton of money, is obvious. Go ahead, because nobody else will be going to see her. So she'll struggle to make money because people just won't go and see Jodie Whittaker's Doctor. You see the type of fan that Jodie Whittaker has. We've seen that famous photograph, right? Okay? They're the type of people that will go, agenda-driven little idiots. Don't care about the show, don't love the show, but love what Jodie Whittaker represents. So don't be saying it's disrespectful, because we nearly lost their show because of the bad decisions that were made. So you're in no position to say that Jodie Whittaker is being disrespected. But you are right. She was disrespected, but not by RTD and David Tennant, as I said. She was disrespected by Chris Chibnall and that production team. Right? So that's where you aim your anger and your frustration. Because the more you keep going after David Tennant, the more you keep going after RTD, fans on both sides of this fandom are seeing these are true colours now. And they've had enough now. And they're starting to call you out from both sides of the fandom now. So you either get on board with what's happening, or you take your agenda-driven asses off and ruin some other TV show out there. Okay? Because as I said, nobody in the fandom is going to put up with this nonsense now anymore. It's done. It's done. Use our power, use our time in this fandom, right? You don't have that anymore. You are going to be called out now. You don't have the power that you once had. RTD is not going to pander to you. He's going to pander to everybody. Just like Jodie Whittaker's era actually promised but didn't pander to everybody. Right? Doctor Who will truly be a show for everybody under RTD because his first era was. As I said, nobody's going to tolerate another few more years of this crap. Times are changing in the fandom, for the show, for its future. We're going into the unknown. It's exciting. It's terrifying at the same time. We don't need your bullshit on top of it. As I said, I can get that you are upset that Jodie Whittaker is gone. I really, truly can. Losing a doctor, especially one that you love or whatever, or what she represents. I'll never get that, to be quite honest, that you can follow a show because the actress in it represents something that means something. I mean, that's not being a fan, in my opinion, right? That's not being a fan, in my opinion. You love every facet of the show, everything, not just one particular thing. You love everything. But it's changing. So, as I said, nobody's going to be tolerating his nonsense by the looks of things. Because we're done. The fandom has had 5 years of this. They don't want it anymore. All they want is their show be the best that it can be and everybody to get behind it. And I'm sitting here waiting for that to happen so I can give it a chance, like I did with the Jodie Whittaker era. And this is the thing. I stayed loyal to Doctor Who these past 5 years, along with a lot of other people, right? Even when things got tough and the episodes kept getting worse, we stuck by it because we love Doctor Who. Mightn't have been what we wanted it to be, but that brand, that franchise means the world to us. So we stayed loyal to that. And we called out the bull. And that's the way it should be. But you haven't got a leg to stand on attacking David Tennant and RTD. I tell you, you will rue the day anyway that you did that. Because a lot of the fandom before you came along and jumped on board when Jodie came along, there's a lot of people that are very fond of RTD and David Tennant. You know, they've got a backing, they've got a loyal support. And that loyal support and loyal backing is not going to back down now because you guys have decided to flex your muscles again. Which is kind of pathetic because, as I said, you don't actually have any power to wield anymore. Your time is up. And you know what? They showed how quickly they were able to move on. Because as soon as the new logo was released, all the social medias were changed straight away. They even changed the end, like and subscribe to videos. They've even started changing that now. And especially with the newer videos that they're throwing up. They've moved on very quickly from the previous era. Because they just don't care. And they never did. And that's what we tried to tell you all those years ago. They just didn't care. Right? Soon as they knew the audience was tanking, they just gave up on it anyway. And it's sad. Because they didn't even need to come to this. You know, Chris Chibnall should never been given the job. Jodie Whittaker should never been given the job as the Doctor either. It was never going to work. You can't just change something overnight and expect people to accept it without there being a backlash. Right? The difference this time is that David Tennant is a previous Doctor. Right? So the backlash that we're getting now is unjustified. Same with RTD returning. The backlash for him returning is unjustified. All the complaints in the comments that you have made about David Tennant's return is unjustified. You still haven't got it you still haven't asked yourselves the question, why is all of this happening? Right? And the answer is simple. The show was going to be cancelled. You need to accept that. That's why it panned out at the end of that episode. That episode was rumored to be fading to black. When it panned out, it was going to fade to black. In steps RTD, the game changes completely, right? And then he decides, along with Bad Wolf, that they're going to take the show forward. And that's why then they did the reshoot, because David Tennant was caught. Because I remember I spoke about on this channel as well about some extra filming being done and people thought I was taking the piss. That was the time when that was done, right? So you should be kissing David Tennant's backside, and you should be kissing RTD's backside, because without those two, if you are truly fans of Doctor Who and care about Doctor actually Who, right, rather than who played the bloody Doctor, then you'd be delighted that they're coming back. Right? But you don't care about the show. That's why yous are moaning. But yous are now being truly seeing who yous are, and people have had enough of yous, and both sides are calling yous out now. And you know what? Yous deserve it. Yous deserve it. For the 5 years, the way yous have went on in this fandom and the way yous have treated members of this fandom, yous deserve it. And you know what's not even as bad, the grief that yous are getting, that yous gave us, because people are not even that vindictive. They're not even that evil. They're just like telling yous to go away now. It's just like, you know, just calling yous out for yous stupidity. Right? And that's all it is. It's stupidity. Yous aren't fans. You said yous were leaving anyway, right? If a white male came along. Well, we got a white male, so go away. Go, live. Live. Right? You aren't fans of Doctor Who. If you're not willing to support David Tennant, who's trying to fucking stabilise the show along with RTD before they introduce Shooty, if you do not get that, then go, live. Live. Time to go and live. Like a lot of you said you were going to do. Walk away. As I said, you still don't get wide or back, right? And as I said, if you look at it, wide or back, then you are blaming the wrong two people. I'm not saying you should blame Jodie Whittaker. In fairness, I think she's partly responsible, but most of the blame goes on Chris Chibnall's head. And that's who all of this backlash and anger should be at. It shouldn't be at RTD and David Tennant, but unfortunately it is. But RTD has shown that he can be classy. He'll agree to disagree. He'll try to be problematic about the whole situation. But he's not going to take any crap. And if you have a problem with a tagline on a Doctor Who magazine, even though we had to endure 5 years of stupid taglines, even using the magazine and Radio Times to attack the fans, which is our taglines, and you have a problem with tagline in tomorrow's issue. As I said, right, this is how big of a deal this is for me, right? As I said, I stopped buying the Doctor Who magazine during the Moffat era. This will be the first Doctor Who magazine that I've bought in years. In years. And I'm going to buy it. And I'm going to buy every copy now if this is the way we're going with it. Because when I buy the Doctor Who magazine, yes, I want those exclusive interviews. I want those little treats that you get. Right? And remember, RTD loves to put out his red herrings and stuff. And it's very interesting that you take the Mickey. When he said take the Mickey. To me, you could interpret that another way as well. Because as I said, RTD is very cryptic when he does interviews. And this is the thing about this RTD interview when you're reading it, right? You'll be reading it, and then as you get down the article, then you'll remember what he said a few paragraphs. Oh shit! Oh, he left me something there. That this is the way it is. I love it. Love RTD interviews. So yeah, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy it. I can't believe I'm saying that, but I'm actually going to go out and buy Doctor Who magazine again. And why? Because RTD, okay, he had a shaky start, but since then, he hasn't laid a finger wrong. Shoot, he hasn't laid a finger wrong. He hasn't said anything to upset fans. And David Tennant in his interview straight after, he very humble. He's back. You know, they've done it. So yes, they've earned me trust. So I'm gonna repay that by dipping into me pocket and paying for a magazine that I know has been struggling and that I swore I wouldn't buy because, you know, few of the people that were writing articles for that magazine were on Twitter actually, you know, calling fans and retweeting fans that they didn't agree with. So I've been very bitter about that, as you know, because I didn't think that behavior was warranted by people that were within the organization itself. But I'm willing to put that all aside and buy this new magazine. And I can't wait. Let me know if Whittaker is in it when you get it. I'm pretty sure they'll probably have something there. I'll be surprised if there's actually nothing from the last era. They do talk about, the magazine cover does say they're going to talk about the regeneration scene. So it's going to be very interesting if RTD is going to be open and forthright, because if he is open and forthright and says that they come back to film this, well, then it proves everything that I said on the channel anyway about it being originally going to fade to black. So that's another reason why I want to get the magazine as well. I want to actually hear what he says about that whole regeneration process and how that came about. Will he actually come out and be out straight about it, or will he just dance around it? Yeah, and if it keeps heading in the same direction, which is the right direction, then absolutely, man. Absolutely. As I said, I will support this franchise financially again if this franchise becomes everything that we all hope it does, which is just brilliant TV, sci-fi. That's all we want. And if it does do that and it ticks all the boxes, man, I will support it. I'll even start buying the old merchandise, which I've never. So I stopped buying a long time ago, as I told you. But I'll do it. I'll do it. This one I'm in. It's give and take, man. You know, they give, we'll go, and we'll give too. You know, but there's a bit of take there as well. You got to take the chances. Got to say and do the right things so far. You know, after a rocky start, I think RTD has turned it around. I really truly do. I really truly believe he wants what's best for the show, especially after I read that to you about the costume. I think that shows that he knows what the media is like. And this is another thing why he's using Doctor Who magazine again. He knows over the past 5 years the way the media have manipulated the audience, have framed things a certain way, and he hasn't liked the behavior. You can clearly see by that quote, he hasn't been happy with the media, right? And he's not going to give them a chance to twist something or to use something to push an agenda, right? So I think that's why he's gone back to Doctor Who magazine, because it's, and remember when he first took over the first time around, he actually said, you know, how important Doctor Who magazine was to the brand, to the franchise. So if this is the first exclusive interview and it's in Doctor Who magazine, so times are a changing. So yes, another reason why I didn't buy the Doctor Who magazine, especially during the Jodie Whittaker era. I mean, Chibs gave you, I don't know why people bought that magazine, to be but honest with you. I mean, what were you getting the last 5 years? You know, I think we've seen some of the things in it over the last 5 years was an absolute joke and a laugh. You know, the magazine itself had become kind of a shadow of itself. He will. I can't. I really can't. I can't wait now. I can't. I really can't wait now. I'm buzzing. I'm glad this happened. I really am. I'm actually glad that all of this little backlash has actually happened to see how he would handle it, see what he would say. And I tell you, he's coming out of this now after a rocky, shaky start. I think he's turned it around. Shooty, as I said, hasn't put a foot wrong, has said all the right and done all the right things, and has embraced all of the fandom and has been careful. Same with David Tennant. Even in the face of backlash, that man has been gracious. And again, in the interview, he's going to talk about how it all, and that's the interesting thing as well. They're going to talk about how this all started again, which will be interesting to read again. Will RTD again be open and honest, or will he kind of skate around it because he doesn't want to, you know, hurt Chib's feelings? But, you know, as I said, if you do look at that tagline on the newspaper or on the magazine, I wouldn't say that's a dig at fans anyway, or those fans that think it's disrespectful to Jodie. I think that's an actual dig at Chris Chibnall himself. Like, I think RTD is making it very clear that he's going to do things his way, but it's also going to be done differently than the previous regime. And for me, that is only a good thing. That's what I mean. He's defended Big Finish as well. How Big Finish kept the show going and alive. I know he has an awful lot of respect, and rightly fucking so. You know, no matter what we think of Big Finish, look, I can actually acknowledge Big Finish's part in all of this. They have played a huge part of keeping the Doctor Who going and keeping it alive in the British public eye. But again, you know, the previous era kind of started ruining that as well. Hopefully, Big Finish starts sorting their game out, because that Time Lord Victorious stuff, talking to people that actually did the whole thing, because there was on different platforms, wasn't it? He did it different ways, and um, I was talking to someone that actually done the whole lot and paid for the whole lot, and it wasn't great. They said it wasn't great. But the reaction to even David Tennant coming back as Time Lord Victorious, and even the Ninth Doctor, showed that there was still a love for because they're RTD era doctors. People keep forgetting that as well. They're RTD era doctors. And look at the excitement when Nine came back to say that he was doing Big Finish. And David Tennant then with Time Lord Victorious. We were all hyped. Do you remember? We watched the trailers and all. We were all hyped. They're RTD doctors. So I think these fans are not activists, I should say, blow-ins. I think they've underestimated the power and the grab that David Tennant and RTD actually have on this fandom. I mean, you've probably seen it last night. I was sitting here, I had the big TV on, and I was like, will I play FIFA or will I watch something? And I said, do you know what I'm going to do? I just see me Doctor Who DVDs there. And you know what? I picked up Series 4. And I started off with Voyage of the Damned, Kylie Minogue, and I was watching that again. And I was sitting down throughout the whole episode with a smile on my face, right? And then I watched Partners in Crime. And we got to the Wilf scenes. And let's just say I was a bit of a bumbling mess. But I went into the extras, right? And they show you all these different trailers, right, of Series 4. And there's this second trailer. And if there's a way, I don't think it's even on YouTube. I tried to find it last night and I couldn't. So I think it's only on the DVD. But I'd love to be able to find some way of putting it up on YouTube. But the way they did this trailer with David Tennant and Catherine Tate, right? It wasn't the trailer that we all know. It was a different trailer, right? And I was blown away. I watched the trailer several times, right? And I was like, all right, I gotta watch a bit more Doctor Who, right? But something that you mightn't know if you don't have the DVD box set, I'm just gonna let you in with a little thing because I found this very sad. And I watched the scenes, and I have to say I did find it strange looking at the scenes. But do you remember in the runaway bride, where Donna's father was there at the wedding? Well, they originally were gonna bring him back for Series 4, but he had gotten very ill, and they had filmed the scenes, Partners in Crime, where Donna is talking to Wilf up on the hill. That was originally her dad that she did it with. So with the family's permission, they actually put those scenes in the box set, and I watched them. And even the scene where he sees her in the TARDIS, and to see it. Now, I did find it a bit strange because obviously we all know who ended up playing that role. Obviously, they brought in Donna's grandfather, Bernard Cribbins, and then AKA Wilf. And I will say, Wilf's performance is brilliant. But the dad's was very emotional. You could see it, and you could see how sick he was, and they knew very. RTD said they knew quite well into the shoe. They had a few problems at the start, but they persevered and they tried to continue. And then it came apparent that he wasn't able to film anymore. And 3 months later, he passed away. But when I was watching the scenes with our dad, and then I watched the Wilf, I will say this now. This I thought it was. I'm not gonna lie, but I don't know what it is with Bernard Cribbins, but I just thought it was the scenes. Maybe it could have been to do with the fact that the scenes that we saw with our dad hadn't got the music inserted in, whereas with Bernard Cribbins it did. But to look at the two scenes was absolutely fascinating. I have to say, I'm really low. Did you know what? Since Noel Clark has been on, I've been kind of like, because I'm not one for watching only with Doctor Who, but I'm not one for watching commentary and listening to actors and actresses talk about their roles and stuff like that and how they film scenes. But after that conversation with Noel, man, I have to say I've been kind of doing it a lot more now, and I think it is good to get that insight. I should have done it a lot sooner, man. But again, there'll be a lot more movies now that I'll watch again, then watch the extras now. I'll be like, I'll probably ruin it. But that's why I never really want, because I don't want it to be ruined in kind of a way, but then it doesn't, kind of enhances it. But then I watched The Fires of Pompeii. I was throwing up some little videos of the episodes I was watching. But that scene with Donna and the doctor I threw up for everybody, just to remind everybody why David and Catherine are actually back. I mean, that one scene alone where she's in the TARDIS saying, go back, and she's telling them, to save them. And he's like, I can't go back, I can't. You think if I could go back to my own planet and all of this? And she says, well, just it's not fair. And he goes, I know it's not. And she says, just someone. And it was that whole moment. That's why Catherine was the Donna was very important to the Doctor. If you even see in the Runaway Bride, right? We seen in Torn Left when Donna wasn't there, he went too far and he ended up dying. Whereas Donna was there and she pulled him back. Same with this as well. She made him realize that everything, yes, it's a fixed point in time, but everything doesn't have to be black and white. And I loved it. Loved it, man. I'm telling you, Series 4 is my favourite series of Tennant's anyway. Because it's got the best companion Doctor duo, I think. Anyway. And of course, Rose returning in that series as well is a bit epic. And remember, we get Martha Jones as well, so we have it all going on in Series 4. But fascinating, man. Fascinating stuff. So I've been watching that. And then I took a break then to watch I'm a Celeb. But apparently Dickhead comes into the camp tonight or something. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. But finally YouTube decided to get around to monetize me Noel Clark stream. Yeah, too late. I mean, after 600 views, I mean, it's too late to monetize it now, you fucking idiots. You know what I mean? Like, it's too late. But they did anyway, because I knew there wasn't an issue with the stream. But again, YouTube being the dickheads that they are, decided to limit the stream for no reason whatsoever. I appeal, right? And it normally takes 20 minutes, right? Normally. But when did we do that stream? 3 days ago? 3 days ago. And now they've only today decided that it's okay. Like 3 days, yeah. 600 views it got. Right? It's over 600 now. And they monetize it at 600. So it's no use to me. It's no use, man. No use. You cannot listen, if you're hoping to make money on YouTube or make a career out of YouTube, right? I'm gonna be honest with you. It's very hard nowadays. Obviously, if you're like me and you don't give a crap and you're straight talking, you're gonna have problems. Obviously, if you're a leftist twat, you'll be fine, right? You'll be fine. You'll get all your videos monetized and you'll be fine, right? I'm not even right wing. This is the weird thing about it. Not even right wing. I'm not. I wouldn't even consider myself left wing either. When it comes to politics, I just kind of like a leaf that blows in the wind. I just don't give a crap. But it's ridiculous. So yeah, I wouldn't advise YouTube as a career, but if you do it as a hobby, it's great. It's great. Anyway, I see some people are talking about Jodie Whittaker's Steelbook. Yeah, many people saying that online now. Yeah, it's sad. It's sad. YouTube is crippling itself. Well, it's not. What it's done is it's sacrificed the content creator for the more commercial channel or channels that are in line with certain politics and certain ideology. It's ridiculous. But anyway, just a big shout out to everybody that has watched the stream anyway. I do really appreciate it. At the end of the day, it isn't really about that, but it is sickening that they did that to me on probably one of me best streams, and it was a big deal. I just feel a bit cheated, but there you go again. It doesn't matter, man. I mean, I can get myself into a fucking. There's nothing I can do about it. I just have to make sure that I don't know what to. See, this is the thing. As a content creator, you're confused. You don't know what's acceptable and what's not acceptable anymore. But it's actually funny, right? And I want to make this point. It's actually funny that none of my other streams for months have been limited, or if they have, within 20 minutes, as I said. But it's weird that this particular stream was limited, and then for 3 days later, or whatever, how long we did that stream, and it's still, yeah, it is 3 days. 3 days, and they decide now, nah, something's fishy going on. Something's fishy going on. Doesn't matter anyway. As a small creator, it's tough just to get seen. Exactly. And as I said, I'm a small fish in a very big pond, but there's plenty of room. But YouTube want to get rid of the small fish. They want to keep the big fish, or at least the fish that don't ripple the water. Right? But that is suspicious. Like, doesn't, and then as soon as I have him on the channel, it's limited. Now I'm not linking the two, but I just find it strange that it hasn't happened in months. And as I said, if it has happened within, I mean literally 20 minutes, right? I refresh it after 20 minutes and that green dollar sign is up, right? But for 3 days, doesn't matter anyway. Look, we'll be having him on again anyway, so no biggie. No biggie. They want to play that game, let them play that game. I'm not going to stop doing the streams that I do. They can make it as difficult as they want for me. I'm not going anywhere. That's exactly what they want. They want to discourage you. Because YouTube is not about encouraging people anymore. Anyway, yeah, gonna go in and get that Doctor Who magazine tomorrow. Be very interesting. Can't wait. Can't wait. Chris Chibnall was trending earlier on. Maybe they have Look, I don't even think they should go after. I don't even think they should be angry at Chris Chibnall at this stage either. It's too late. It's too late. The time to get angry was after Series 13. But you didn't. You decided to keep attacking fans instead. That you felt were being unjustly or wrong about Doctor Who. We weren't. And we weren't doing it out of spite. Listen, I don't like Jodie Whittaker as an actress. Really don't. I'm not going to lie, right? I don't think she's up to scratch when it came to Doctor Who. But I didn't think she came across very well either. Now, she might have to you guys. And actually, I would say to you guys, she was very respectful and she came across lovely to you guys. But she didn't come across lovely to the rest of the fandom with certain interviews and statements that she made over the last 5 years. So he's talk about disrespect, Just want to remind you that this fandom has been disrespected for the last 5 years, having to put up with that crap and watch that crap. All because he didn't listen to us. If he's had to listen to us, we could have removed Chris Chibnall as showrunner, brought someone in to helm the show then under Jodie for the next 2 years that she the next couple of seasons that she was going to stay for, right? And then hopefully then gain some reputation back, and then she could leave with her head held high and the show semi-successful, but not up where it should be. But she could have left the show in a better state if she had someone better in place. Nah, I to be quite honest with you, as I said, I'm not linking the two, but I do find it a bit suspicious. But I wouldn't say it's anything to do with that. Do you know how I'll know when he comes on the next time, and if it happens the next time, right? Then I'll know. Then I'll inform and let him know what's going on, because then there is a deliberate attempt then. And you know me, I'm not going to put up with that either. So if I have to fight back, I'll fight back. Because no, not gonna have. I won't have that either. Won't have anything sabotage deliberately. Apparently, Chris Chibnall's new job is teaching people how to run shows. What, into the ground? Into the ground. That's what he'd be good at, running shows into the ground. All right. He'd be good at teaching that. All right. Maybe he should take up gardening. I don't think Chris Chibnall should be teaching the next generation of writers. Absolutely not. If you want to be taught, RTD for me is the person that these young next generation of writers should be inspiring to be. People like Noel Clarke who inspire. That's it, man. We'll see what happens anyway. We'll see what happens. But yeah, very interesting times ahead. Let's see. Just see if there's anything here now before we leave. So we got some creep. He just doesn't give up, does he? That kid is mentally ill. I'm gonna actually say it. He's mentally ill. He needs to actually stop, man. That's creepy now at this stage. Like, someone telling me they love me. Chibnall couldn't not Chibnall teach him writing. Jesus Christ. That's a nightmare. In fairness, he didn't do too bad with Broadchurch. In fairness, he didn't do too bad with Torchwood either. But he was always wrong for Doctor Who. There's no doubt Chibs has talent, but his reputation has definitely taken a knock. Um, More than a knock, I would say. But you know, he's good at other stuff. Just was never the right man for Doctor Who. Just never the right man for Doctor Who. Just like Jodie wasn't the right woman to bring in. If you were going to do a female doctor, she was the wrong woman to bring in. Well, people will, yeah, that's the thing. People will think that he fluked them, and that's not an unfair assessment, I have to say. But he could prove everybody wrong when he does something else that isn't connected to Doctor Who, and then we'll see. We'll see what happens with him anyway. I will keep an eye. It'll be interesting to see what he does next, or what his best move is. But yeah, that kid just needs to. Some people in this fandom just, I mean, you got to leave it out now. Like, still 5 years, you just can't. As long as he leaves Blake 7 alone. Well, apparently those plans have been put on the shelf. So I don't think you have to worry about Blake 7. I think everybody is safe there. I mean, you wouldn't give a Martin now. At this stage now, you'd probably say to him, just write your own stuff and keep him away from other shows. Why is Chips trending? David Tennant's trending again, but he's not trending for the positive reasons, as I said. Well, obviously there is positive tweets, but it's from the negative side. But yeah, I mean, that's just fucking. Yeah, I'm gonna check now why he's trending. So hold on. Be interesting. Yeah, people giving out about the fact, there's no conspiracy. If Chibnall had done his job properly. So people are criticizing Chibs for that. Someone, I'll just read this one out, but I won't say who wrote it. So she's so nice, 13 doctor, whatever that means. Jodie Whittaker, F.U. Chris Chibnall, Doctor Who fan cam edit. I miss you, R.I.P. MILF Doctor. 10 Doctor David Tennant me when I'm trying to get views. What? I mean, that doesn't even make cohesive sense. But obviously pissed off again. People saying that RTD saved the show. People are saying, why is RTD getting some stick? People calling out Chibs. It's a bit late now, though. I mean, this is all the stuff that we were saying the last 5 years. I mean, you can't be coming out giving out now. As I said, it's done. There's nothing you can do about it. We tried to warn you, you wouldn't listen. You wouldn't listen. So I'm sorry, no sympathy. Absolutely zero. Zero, zero, zero. I'm just glad that both sides of the fandom are seeing what yous are, truly, and are calling yous out now. But it's a bit late either. Even calling yous out now, I think, is a bit. I've been calling yous out for the last 5 years. There's no point calling yous out anymore. Yous are actually exposing yourselves and yous are true colours anyway. You know, so everything that I said about yous and what yous were like in this fandom is coming to fruition. I predicted everything that would happen. I even told everybody on this stream the sequence of events after RTD was announced. I laid out exactly the way it was all going to pan out. I predicted you our backlash. I predicted the fact that you would go after RTD. I predicted the fact that you would go after David Tennant. I predicted all of this last year because you are so fucking, you are so bloody obvious. I knew exactly how it was all going to pan out. And I said it, the fandom will get to see what yous are truly like. And now it's starting to happen. And about time. But but I'll say it to those people that are calling them out that had the cheek to call me out for calling them out. I mean, I find it a bit hypocritical now that you are calling them out because you called me out for calling them out, even though they were attacking me. But now, all of a sudden, it's okay for you to call them out now and point out that they're toxic and all of this. But yeah, I've been doing it the last 5 years because they've been personally attacking me, and I've been trying to tell you all of that. But you wouldn't listen to me. But now, all of a sudden, you are all speaking up. Yous need to shut up. Yous are hypocrites. Instead of backing me up, what did you do? Yous compounded me misery by retweeting me tweets and making sure that there was a backlash against me. Now yous have the cheek to call those very same people out. The same people that I've been calling out saying have been toxic, have been attacking fans. Oh, Noel's lying. He's manipulating things. He has all of this in the early days. Oh, he has an army. He sends people off to bully people and all of this other bull crap that I told you that they were making up, setting up fake sock accounts everywhere they were, trying to pin me, trying to get me on something, trying to cause problems. And yeah, they're doing it now. But yeah, all you hypocrites that facilitated and helping those kids are now coming out against them. These are hypocrites. But again, I predicted this as well. I said when you knew the game was up and people would turn on this era and turn on those fans, that you guys would be the very first people to do that. And that's exactly what's happened. I've predicted everything. And wait till you see their outrage when all the other surprises are announced. You think the outrage is bad now? Wait till you find out what's going to happen. Then they'll be definitely outraged. But there's nothing they can do about it. It always was projection. It always was projection. Anyway, I'm pretty sure that this backlash is going to go on tomorrow, is when they actually read the whole magazine. If they even buy the magazine, there is. What'll happen is you'll have people that actually do buy the magazine within that fandom, that actually do buy the magazine. And then what they'll do is then they'll screenshot certain parts of the article just to make it worse, the backlash. So they'll only screenshot certain things that will suit the narrative that David Tennant and RTD are bad. So watch out for that tomorrow, because that's what's going to happen, right? You're going to see a lot of screenshots like that, and it'll be designed to just create more trouble in the fandom and more backlash towards RTD and David Tennant. They're so predictable. They're so predictable. And you know what, in a kind of roundabout way, it's funny on one hand to see their reaction, but at the same time, we've got to remember that they are actually attacking RTD and David Tennant, and David Tennant has even been threatened. So, you know, they could say whatever they want about us. I never threatened Chris Chibnall, and I certainly never threatened Jodie Whittaker. Right? Might have had a problem with Jodie Whittaker's acting and some of the statements that she made, but they never came out and threatened like these people. So they're showing their true colours now. Right? They're showing their true colours now. Everything that I said about them sending threats to me and all that, and people saying out there, Noel's making this up, he's trying to play the victim and all this, was never trying to play the victim. I was a victim. Right? Bottom line. And there was other people that we know in this chat that have also been victims of it. Death threats and disgusting, vile stuff sent. But now they're not hiding anymore, folks. Their mask has completely fallen off now, and they're actually doing it out in public. They're actually doing it out in public now for the public to see. So now people on Twitter can see the true nature of these blow-ins. I'm confused there. Jamie, I don't know what your comment. I'm confused by that comment. If you can explain, did I miss something? If you just want to clarify, because I don't know, I don't see any other comments, so I don't know what that's in relate. Is that something I've said that you're responding back to? I don't know. That's what I mean. We never did wish harm on anybody. But what can you do? What can you do? Well, he's got friends in the industry. I'm pretty sure. You know, I mean, look at J.J. Abrams. He can go around and ruin franchises and still get work. So, you know, Chibs will be all right. He will get work. But once it's nothing to do with Doctor Bleeding Who, or if there's an extended universe and all of that happening, just once he isn't part of that, I don't give a crap what he does, to be quite honest with you. But I will keep an eye with keen interest because, as I said, other stuff he's done before, he wasn't too bad. We'll see. It's always a big deal when a former showrunner, anyway, does a new show or makes an announcement anyway. So I'm pretty sure when he does, we'll all hear about it anyway. But again, I don't know what that comment is, Jamie, if you want to clarify, because I'm a bit confused here at the moment. Chib should go back to ITV murder drama. I do agree. I do agree. So yeah, not really Shooty is obviously trending as well, because of the whole saga. Um, Interesting choices of companions from that group. But by looking at all their choices, again, they just cannot pick someone based off talent. Every single person that they've picked here, they've picked because they're either LGBTQ or some other ideology. Um, they just can't pick a companion for the sake of picking someone that's great for the role. Everything is an agenda with them. And that's why they're not fans. That's why they're not fans. I wasn't even talking about him. I wasn't even talking about him. I was actually talking about someone completely different, actually. I don't care what he has to say. He's been coming out with some bullshit lately anyway, so I don't really give a crap. But I wasn't actually talking about him. But if someone was spreading the rumor between Jody and Mandip, well, then all I would say is that, well, if you take a look at their interviews and take away if you look at the way they've been looking at each other, right? So you can look at it two ways. Either they were pandering to the Tassies, right, which is fair enough, which I kind of find sickening, to be quite honest with you. You don't pander if you're a married woman. Or there's something in it. So for me, I think it was just the two of them pandering to the audience, because I think once Mandip and Jody found out that they were being shipped, I think they played up on it. I really do. I think they used every advantage to play up on it. And I think that's why the rumor came about that maybe there was something between the two of them, because they certainly did play up to it. You could see it. If I've seen them at award ceremonies. I even commented on the channel before, a couple of years ago, when you were doing these red carpet events and all, and the way you were looking into each other's eyes and all of that, right? And this was for serious. I don't know when it was for. I think it was the end, serious. 12. I think it was just after lockdown, or it was when she appeared at. It was a Wales Comic Con or something with Amanda was there. They were in lockdown. Yeah, they were in lockdown at the time, but they were in their own little bubble, and even there, there was a few photographs of them where they were holding hands, looking into each other's eyes. I think they were just playing to the Tassies, because they knew that they were shipping them, and they knew then eventually, obviously, they'd stick it in then eventually. So they played up on it. So if the rumor came about, well, it's their fault, because they're the ones that played up to a certain handful of fans in this fandom. And, as I said, I find it quite disingenuous, especially since Jodie Whittaker is a married woman with children. She shouldn't be pandering like that and making nonsense comments that she was raised gender neutral. Well, if she was raised gender neutral, we all were, because me and Jodie Whittaker are similar in age, and I grew up the time that she grew up in, right? And we played with each other's toys and we wore each other's clothes, not because our parents were raising us gender neutral. It was because we didn't have much money. So I find it all disingenuous. So if he is calling out someone, well, she's only got herself to blame. Again, they want to defend her. They want to defend her when she's doing stuff like this, right? There wouldn't be a rumor if she wasn't doing it in the first place. He's not always balanced. He's never balanced. I'm sorry, but I disagree with he's not always balanced. He's never balanced. He's never balanced. He's calling these fans out now all of a sudden, right? But he had no problem with retweeting my tweets and letting those very same people attack me on a daily basis for the last 5 years. Right? So I don't listen to anything that comes out of his mouth. He's a hypocrite. So, that's where I stand on that. The only reason why he's speaking up is because he needs to. Exactly, he's a grifter. That's exactly what he is. Right? Know exactly what his game is, and people should wise up to him once and for all. Right? But just well, no, people won't. People won't. People still buy his bull crap. Go ahead. Right? It wouldn't be me. It's not me. Yeah, well, as I said, I wasn't actually talking about him. But I know he's been saying some shit because people have been sending me screenshots, but I've made it clear I don't want to be sent screenshots. I don't care what he says. Let him. All he is a hypocrite anyway, right? He says one thing, does another thing, and then he does another thing, right? I just have no time for people like that, right? He's caused a lot of damage in this fandom, and it's about time that people start wising up to him as well. If they're going to wise up to the Tazzies and the J-Bots, they want to wise up to that fella too, and a couple of other people in this fandom, right? The way they've behaved over the last 5 years. No, it's grand. It's grand. I'm glad you kind of brought it up because I was going to eventually say something because it's getting ridiculous now. Like, don't be trying to rope me back into stuff with your comments, because he did put up a tweet a couple of days back that someone sent me, and he was clearly talking about me and Ballstrek. And the thing is why? Why? I haven't even mentioned him on this channel. What? Why? Because he needs to. He needs to stay relevant. So, I feel sad for him, but people should wise up to that mouthpiece because he's done a lot of damage in this fandom, along with other accounts out there. Right? He's not as innocent as he makes himself out to be. Right? And I'm not saying I haven't made mistakes in this fandom. Of course, I have. I've learned along the way. But if you're going to call me out for stuff that I've done, you want to be doing the same to him because he has, in my opinion, anyway, and I know a lot of people will agree with me, he's been worse in terms of the things that he's done. Well, he will be back here, Ezra. I will be hosting Cultivating Media on I think we have a plan for this weekend. Because we spoke and he wanted to come on. So he said, let's do another stream together. And I said, absolutely. So I think he's coming on this weekend. So look out for that. Of course he's been a lot now because the reason why he is, Jamie, and then I'm gonna drop it after this. But the reason why he is, look at his videos compared to when he's talking about normal stuff, right? So when he's talking about all this controversial stuff and calling people out, look at the views his videos get. That's all you need to know, right? He's doing the same with Twitter. Unless he's actually being the way he is, his Twitter account won't get as much traction as it normally would, right? So when he starts being controversial, then he starts getting the traction. He's wised up to the game, actually, right? That if you want to get ahead on Twitter and YouTube, right, you just go and call everybody out and you fight with everybody, right? So he's seen that now, right? But you see, he thinks that the people that he's calling out, especially Gary, who he's called out, and he's called out, he actually thinks they care. They haven't even watched these videos. They don't give a shit. And his videos don't have an impact on their lives, you know? The only reason why I have an issue with him is he's got a bigger channel than me. I've only got 2,000 subs, but he's punching down, right? Now, fair enough, he's punching up as well when he's attacking them, but you never punch down unless you really have to, right? If there's some little shit that you need to take, you need to say, look, enough is enough, and you need to punch down. Fine, right? But there's an unwritten rule on YouTube. You just don't punch down. You never punch down, even if someone is being, there's been once or twice where I've had to punch down because the type of videos that they were putting up were attacking me wife. So that's different. But if you're just punching down to get clicks, and that's what he's doing, he's punching down at me to get clicks. I don't have any time for people like that. That's a coward. It's a coward. Anyway, yeah. It doesn't matter. As I said, everything is irrelevant now anyway. Because a new era will begin and we will move on as Doctor Who fans. And if some people want to stay and live in the past and want to keep rehashing old shit and try to drag me into it, then that's fine. That's fine. Let them. But I won't be, and I haven't even on Twitter. You will notice I don't engage. Again, that little creep Andrew Jones added me with another account. I've just blocked them. I haven't even engaged with them. I don't even do that anymore. There's no point. You ignore these people. That's why I've told people on social media, and I keep saying it, and I'll say it again. Stop sending me screenshots. I don't care. It's like as if people want to get me back into this by sending me. And I know that's not the intention, right? But if you just keep showing me screenshots, eventually someone's going to cross the line in one of those that I see, and I'm going to have to say something. And I don't want to. So, leave it out. Don't be sending me posts. I don't care what anybody else says out there about Jodie Whittaker either. I don't care, right? I don't want to know, right? The only reason why we're talking about it today is because the fans that supported that woman have decided to go and attack David Tennant and RTD again. Because they don't like certain things that have been said and think he's being disrespectful and all of this. Right? But I don't care. And again, as I said to people out there, if there are people talking shit about me, let them. But you don't have to let me know and send me screenshots. I don't care. I actually don't care. Even when I look at the screenshots now, I actually laugh. I don't care. Let them keep screaming into the void. Let them. I don't care. Right? Even when Noel Clark came on, I thought there might have been a backlash from that side. Right? But you can ask anybody that I was talking to. I didn't care. They can come at me all they want. It's still not going to stop him from coming on. It's happening either way. So I'll say it again to everybody that's listening here tonight. No more screenshots. I don't care. So don't be sending me them, right? If something serious happens in the fandom and it needs to be called out, it'll be called out, okay? But if someone's saying nasty stuff about me, I don't care. Let them. Let them. But I don't need to know about it, and my attention doesn't need to be drawn to it either. Do you get me? That's what I'm trying to say. It's like, I know that you don't mean to, right, when you are sending them, but don't send them. I don't care, right? Because if you do, and if someone says something, say if I see one that's slagging me wife, of course I'm going to come out then and say something, right? But if I don't know about it, I don't care. So just everybody from now on, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Simple as that. I've tried to make this clear a few times, and it's still happening anyway. But I don't want to be sent screenshots. I don't care what they say about David Tennant and RTD. Obviously, if it's being reported on the news or if it's trending, I will talk about it because it needs to be spoken about. But anything they've got to say about me, I just don't want to know. Right? I don't care what they say. At the end of the day, we should be ignoring these people anyway. From day one, we should have just ignored them. But we had to speak up because they have been sending death threats. Right? And we can't have that. Right? But from now on, we should just ignore these kids now. Ignore them. They're screaming into a void anyway. Right? That lunatic kid, like, I was checking all the blocked accounts, right? I could literally scroll down and show you, right? The first 50 odd accounts are the same person from Barry Island, and you will know who I mean when I say that. Right? That's in a month alone. That's in a month alone. That guy has literally set up hundreds of accounts just to come at me. Right? And what I used to do was react to him all the time. But since I stopped reacting to him, he sets them up less and less. Now, he's still setting them up, but he's not coming at me because he can't comment on me comments anymore now because I have it for people I follow. So he can't even comment on me comments anymore. What I do is I limit their ability to comment on my bleeding comments now, right? So which means now they've given up. And I'd actually advise anybody that's on Twitter, that's what you do. If you just want to stop these people, now you can't stop them from retweeting, obviously, unless you protect your account. But fuck the retweets, right? They can't comment in your comment section and spread their boil and all of that other rubbish. So I would suggest when you put a comment, instead of having it for everybody can reply, right? Tap on that, and then you'll see an option that says people who you follow can reply, and it cuts all that out. And since I've done that, I've noticed that I'm not seeing any of this shit. But as I said, I'm being sent stuff from people. I'm not saying people are doing it deliberately. I think people are genuinely having me back and just making me aware that these things are being said. But I'd rather I wasn't told. Because if I don't know about it, I don't care about it. And I don't want to get into that headspace anymore. Right? I had 5 years of it. My mental health has taken a battering. Right? And then to compound all of that, and we've all been through it as well, this fucking pandemic didn't help either. Right? So our mental health, we went even further. Right? Got a further battering. All right? So I don't need it for the next few years. I made it very clear when this era was over that I was moving ahead and I was moving on. And the only reason why we're still talking about this stupid fucking era, right, is because her fans are now attacking the two people that are trying to save the fucking show. And are offended by everything that's coming out now. We should be just sitting here talking about his interview. But we have to address this. Because if we do, someone has to call these people out. Anyway, Jamie Knight sent me a £2 super chat. You didn't have to do that, and I wasn't giving out to you. I'm just saying in general. If we don't know these things are happening, folks, then there's nothing to get upset about. And he wrote, got it. So thank you for that, Jamie. I really appreciate it. But that's where I am now. We don't need it. We don't need it. But I'm not going to sit idly by, and I don't think any of us are, if these people are attacking RTD and David Tennant when they're actually trying to save the show. I mean, as I said, the reason why this is different to the Jodie Whittaker situation is because David is a former doctor, and obviously RTD is a former showrunner. So their arguments and their hatred towards them is actually unjustified. Whereas in their case, when we were in their position 5 years ago, it was completely different. Because we had a showrunner that came in that made it very clear in his very first interview that he didn't like Daleks, Cybermen, and all of that. So that annoyed. Then you had Piers Wenger with his Peter Davison comments. And then you had Jodie Whittaker with all her nonsense about little girls and the doctor and all of this. Because, you know, the doctor being male can't be a role model for women. That's the message that she was sending out to little girls, which is wrong. Men can be role models for little girls. And there's nothing wrong with that. Right? And Doctor Who was a role model for a lot of little girls, teenagers, and grown women, right? And they didn't need a female doctor to pander to them or to make them feel special. They already felt special, just like the rest of the fandom did. Anyway, I'm gonna go because me and the missus, it's 9 o'clock now. Well, it's 9:05. So I'm a Celebrity is on 5 minutes now, but we have a recording. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to head off now and I'm going to watch I'm a Celebrity, and then all shit is going to break loose on that show. So that'll be fun. And then tomorrow then, when I wake up, I'm going to go in then and get my first Doctor Who magazine that I've bought in a long, long time. And I'll be on tomorrow briefly, just for a few minutes or so. Because I also have a Manchester United match tomorrow as well. Fucking sandwiched in there as well. But we will do a stream, and I have to watch the next few episodes of The Crown as well. Have to say, I'm not really fond of this series of The Crown. Yeah. Cheryl's loving it. I'm not. As I said, I don't think The Crown. I think The Crown has actually nosedived since season 2. Anyway, the first 2 seasons with Matt Smith and Claire Foy are the best, and it's gone downhill since then. It hasn't been good. I'm being honest, that's just me. There's been good stories within each of those seasons, but this season there hasn't been really a standout episode at all. Even the ones that are dealing with the book, Diana's book, and all of this, I thought it was going to be more dramatic. It's just, I'm finding it boring. I'm actually finding it boring, but it'll be the most watched because obviously Queen Elizabeth is not here anymore, and obviously The Crown was trending when she passed away. So this will be the most watched season, but it's not the best season. Definitely not. But there you go. Anyway, we'll leave it there for now, and we'll be back tomorrow with some exciting RTD. Now, obviously, I won't be able to read out everything, so we'll be careful. We'll read out snippets. I'll give you a look at some of the pages and stuff like that. Because I'm gonna buy the physical. Feck that digital crap. Always buy the physical, I say. So I'm gonna go in, buy my first Doctor Who magazine. I might even, because it is such a big deal for me, I might even do a little video where I'm picking up the magazine. Just because it's a big deal for me. So I might do a little video of people in Dublin don't think I'm actually crazy. Now it'll obviously be pre-recorded because I won't be able to go live while I'm out. That'll just be a bit too creepy, I think. So I'll just do a little video of me picking up the magazine and stuff, going in to get the magazine, I should say. Yeah. So yeah, I'll do that. I think that'll be a nice little thing to do. And then obviously then we'll come back then and we'll do a live stream for a little while, and then we'll go through the magazine together and stuff. See, I'm all excited now. That's That's the RTD and David Tennant effect right there. And Shooty is part of that as well, because obviously he's been brilliant as well. So yeah, I'm buzzing. I'm buzzing. I can't wait. I can't wait. And I don't really usually read comic book strips, as you know, but I'm fascinated by this David Tennant one, because I'm pretty sure before this 60th anniversary drops that this comic book strip might deal with something leading up into it. So I'm thinking we're probably going to need to get every issue of Doctor Who magazine up until the 60th, because I'm pretty sure there might be a little side story going on in the magazine before we get to the 60th anniversary. Um so yeah. Um so we'll do that. I would rather buy the specials. Yeah, well, that's it. Anyway, we'll leave it there, folks. So, as I said, we'll be back tomorrow. So, listen, enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you again for the continued support. It's really appreciated. We will be for you members, just in case, because it has been a while since we've done a member stream, and I'm not hiding from that fact. Of course, it has, but there has been a lot going on, as you know. There's been a lot going on. But yeah, I hope to get a member stream done this week as well. I've just asked a couple of people, so we'll see who's available. And we'll do a members stream and have one of our little conversations with someone, as we always do. So we'll have a member stream coming soon as well. And also, because of the whole thing with Noel Clark and all of that, we didn't do our regular movie zone. So just to let you know, actually, the movie that won that poll, if I can find it now with all the stuff that I've posted now over the past couple of days, I'll have to scroll up. But I think the winner was, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Well, it's past all the music that I was playing last night. Oh yeah, by the way, just need to say to some people that follow me on Twitter, sometimes I get, how do I put it? Not depressed, but I get a little bit down. So music is me escapism, or Doctor Who. But mostly music over the last few years, because obviously Doctor Who, unless I watch the old episodes. That's why I was watching Doctor Who last night as well. Something to, because we all have our down moments. So I'm not going to shy away from that. But you will notice that if you follow me on Twitter, that sometimes I might flood me bleeding Twitter account with a load of music videos from YouTube. So if that has been annoying some people, I suggest that maybe you mute me for, maybe it goes on maybe an hour or two, because then what you call it, then I'll get it out my system. But I found a lot of the songs that I haven't listened to in years, which was great. And there's another reason why I watch, because I listen to music on YouTube, is because I might play a song and then I'll scroll down and I'll see a song that I haven't played in years, and then it'll lead me down another. So I went down a bit of a rabbit hole the last time I threw music up. So yeah, because as you know, as ourselves, we tried to do a stream here where I was playing some music videos, and I wanted to leave some comments and tell you why this particular song, but YouTube actually blocked me, because what was the song? I think it was The Power of Love by what's her name? I keep forgetting her name. What's her name? Anyway, someone in the comments will probably get it. But yeah, that was the video. So we stopped doing it. But like, I was able to play certain videos. So if I could figure it out, I might start doing little music streams because, as I said, one of me other big passions is music. I've always kind of wanted to have my own little radio show. Now to play music, um, obviously because I'm very fond of music, and I think I have. Some people say I have bad taste in music. I think I have good taste in music. Um, I have an eclectic taste in music. Um, where's this bleeding Paul? Oh, there we go. Is it? No, that's not the one. Right, I have to keep going. Jesus, it's all the way down here. No, it's not Celine Dion, and it's not Huey. Huey, it's a woman. Hold on, I'll tell you now. I'll just bleed and Google it. Jennifer Rush. How did I not get that one? Jennifer Rush. That was the song. That was the music video. And as soon as I played it, people said that my stream had went off, and I got a worldwide block because the video was worldwide. The music video was worldwide blocked. But I've noticed some people put full albums and all up, so that you can throw music up on YouTube. You just have to be very careful what you throw up because YouTube is funny like that. Where's this bloody pole? I mean, it's not even down this. It shouldn't even be down this far. Oh no, it's not down. It's not down that far. It can't be. Hold on, 6 days ago. Oh, I would have put the pole up 7, so it is down this far then. Yeah, it was Jennifer Rush. I don't know how I've bleeding forgot her name because one of my favourite songs. I actually love her voice, man. Right, is this the poll? Oh yeah, it is the poll. So we were doing another horror night, so I'll retweet the poll so everybody can see it. So I asked to pick a movie from these 4 choices, and myself and Chris actually picked these movies. So Chris is in the chat. So yeah. So the movies are as follows. We had The Shining, The Amityville Horror, The Entity, and Nightmare on Elm Street. And the result is as follows. So in last place on 15%, we have The Amityville Horror. So that is out. On 17%, we have The Entity, which that is out as well. But that's interesting that The Entity finished ahead of The Amityville Horror. I did pick The Entity, I have to be honest. I do like that movie. It's freaky. I remember watching it as a kid. Shouldn't be really watching it as a kid, but I did. That was the household that I grew up in. We watch horror movies. In second place, though, with 32% of the vote, was Nightmare on Elm Street, which means with a 5% lead over Nightmare on Elm Street, it's The Shining. So we are doing The Shining next on our horror zone, as we're calling it now. So The Shining will be the next movie, and yeah, we will be doing that obviously as well. We've got to squeeze in a lot of fucking streams. Holy moly, she! But we'll do it. We'll do it. We'll do it because that's what we do, isn't it? We have to. We have to keep it going, keep the momentum going. And Classic Who is coming back as well soon. Jesus, 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 Jesus! Because we haven't done Classic Who in a while, so we might jazz it up a little bit and do something different this time with Classic Who. What we might do is we might get everybody that's on the panel for that to pick a story each. It doesn't have to be, it could be from any particular doctor. And then we get people to vote on each episode, each story. And whatever story wins, then it's won by popular vote. There'll be no rigging in our polls, but we will do a popular vote. And the winner, then that'll be the story that we do. So I think that'll be yeah. And New Who, we haven't done New Who in a while as well. Yeah, we'll squeeze. Well, we'll get New Who in. I know we're on coming up to Series 9. We'll start that as soon as everything else settled down. I'll see. Just wait, because there's a couple of things that need to be done, you know, and kind of things have been thrown all over the place a little bit, but for good reasons. For good reasons, not as if it's bad. We've doing all right. So we're The Shining. So get you a copy of The Shining ready. I'll obviously do what I always do. I'll put the trailer up for you guys, and I'll let you know the time and the day that we're filming, that we're watching The Shining. So look out for that on the channel. Okay. So The Shining, if you have it, go and get it. Get it, clean it, dust it down. Obviously, if you don't, you've got a few days at least anyway until for that. And you still doing your FIFA streams? Well, nobody has come to me. Daniel came to me and said that he won't be able to do it. So that Daniel's out, but nobody else has come to me. So I mean, as I said, we need to get enough people to do it, because it'll be just it won't be worth doing it with just two people. We need a lot more people. So yeah, if people want to do that. So again, if you have a PlayStation, Xbox, or whatever you play, if you have the new FIFA 23, if you're into football games, our plan was to host their own World Cup. People will pick a team, and then we play in groups, and then we see who goes the furthest in the tournament, like they do in real life. But it'll be us playing against each other. But I haven't gotten any people come to me about it, and I did make a big deal about it. So if we'll see if anybody else is interested. Yeah, I don't know if Noel Clark plays FIFA 23 though. I know he does game. But that was something I was thinking about, because when I heard he had a Twitch, I was like, well, maybe we do some gaming streams. Maybe I could get him on a gaming stream as well. As I said, you know, I sent him a message the other day, obviously, just to see how things were, and you know, if he was okay with everything. And you know, he seemed, well, you seen the video that he put up on his YouTube channel, so he seems to be, yeah, he was he said it was very good, so happy about that. Lee doesn't play football games. As I said, though, Cinnamon, there'd be no point of doing it if there's only two of us. I mean, that'd be, as I said, if we could get at least four people, and we could put two people in two groups, then, and then just let the computers fight it out in the other groups, and then see how far we get. Because obviously, if we beat the computers in their matches and then we play each other, once each person that's playing, real life person, gets 1 and 2 in the group, then you can get into the next round. But we need more people. So, I mean, if you want to get if you know people, you get feelers out there, man. If you want to throw it out there, see if people are interested. But when I did and I mentioned it, nobody came to me. You know, there was excitement for it at first, but nobody's actually come to me and said, "Oh yeah, I'd love to do that." You know, so I think Daniel's issue is a financial one, so he can't get the game. So that's a shame because it would have been nice to have Daniel part of it. And remember, you'll be playing at your own skill level. Obviously, when we play each other, then we'll be putting it on ultimate mode because we'll be both playing in the goalkeepers. It won't be easy for us to score, so it's a good match between each other. But we'll be playing at your own skill level. I'll obviously be playing on legendary mode because that's the skill level that I'm on right now. But for other people, they might need to play on world class or play on professional or whatever. You know, that's what I mean. So, or I could just, well, I mean, I could do a world. I mean, the World Cup isn't it coming? What's the date? Because I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's the 9th. It's actually out now. I think I think FIFA 23 has added the World Cup mode to the game now. So it's actually there. I don't even have to set up my own tournament. It's actually there. I can actually I could actually do a World Cup. Maybe I'll do if nobody else wants to join. Maybe the two of us will end up doing it. We'll see. We'll see. Right? If it just ends up the two of us doing it, then the two of us will do it. You'll be in one group, right? You'll be on one end of the spectrum. I'll be on the other end, so we don't clash early. So, because it'd be crap if we don't meet each other. See, this is why we needed more people. Because what happens if you get knocked out in the group stage, or I get knocked out in the group stage? Then it's literally over. Then because then you'd be only watching one person play. Then the rest until they get knocked out. That's why we need at least four people. Ideally, 8 people would be great. If we could get 8 people, then we could put person in each group. There's 8 groups, isn't there, in the World Cup or something like that? So put them in each bloody group. They'd have to play the computer 3 times. Bang, you get through. Then the knockout stages. So I think they've added that mode. I don't know if it's for us though. I'll have to check. It could be only for PlayStation 5 because it's different with each game or with each console. So we'll have to check. But look, I'm gonna stop now because like we're literally we're half an hour in. I'm a celeb now, so that gives us plenty of time now to run the ads. But look, as I said, I'll look into that cinnamon anyway, right? Later on because I'm going to be playing FIFA after I'm a celeb for about an hour before I sit down for the night and relax. So yeah, so I'm going to go now anyway. Right, so thanks for tuning in, folks. We'll be back tomorrow, as I said, with that Doctor Who magazine, and obviously, I'll do a little video. Hopefully, people don't look at me weird, but yeah, we'll do a little video, and obviously, get the magazine, and then come on later on and stuff. Right. Yeah, some people do get migraines when they play those sort of games. Anyway, you're right. You're right. Sometimes I do find myself getting headaches. Yeah, because you play it too long, you see. You're only supposed to play for a certain amount of time, but we all over game, don't we? Anyway, we'll leave it there, folks. I'll talk to you soon. Have a good one. Enjoy the rest of your evening, wherever you are in the world. Stay safe and take care. Bye bye.